fuck are you? I can hear you. And then we just ended the stream.
They're like, wow, audio levels are really good on this podcast. We're like, we can't hear anything. We're just gonna end it, guys.
Yeah, it's clearly not working.
Right, we're back. We have frames. We have audio, and we're live.
That is so good. That's literally all I want to hear. If I woke up and somebody told me that every morning, my life would be like,
all right, Truman,
tenfold better. Thanks, man.
It's always good when you have audio in life, isn't it? Otherwise, you're deaf.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
I'm just waiting for the preview to pop up so I can just double check,
Triple check.
Not that helped last time, but I'll do it again.
I was going to say, actually, I don't know if this episode would have allowed for it in terms of content, but we should do like a joint quick resume game awards voting, where I share the screen and we just all decide on what we want to vote as a whole, and obviously do our own individual ones under our own emails, but one under the quick resume.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm sure we'll have a quiet week soon, and on that week we'll do the panel, the QRP panel.
It'll be.
And I've also got a backup name lined up for the show if we ever need to like rebrand, because like
I think we need to just kick Caden out and rebrand.
I'm the heart of the show, I heard.
Yeah, beating heart. There are 3 hearts. You're definitely one of them.
What's the
name?
name?
It's a really good rebrand.
Actually, don't say it unless someone steals it. Just trademark it. Verbally trademark it.
That's so true. Hang on, let me. Where's the? I can never fucking figure out how to message on Discord. There it is. Okay.
This is when he leaves the call, restarts his PC.
In respect to like, if Xbox is a console producer, like people stop caring and they're just like mostly a publisher. I think that's pretty cool. It's like a legacy throwback to Xbox, but then
you could just call it "This is an Xbox podcast."
Very good. Meta joke that is. Only Xbox users will get that.
Yeah, because it goes into their branding of "This is an Xbox." This is an Xbox.
It's so true.
Am I an Xbox?
I think at times I think you are. There are times. You have your moments.
You got a joystick. You got buttons. Oh god.
Plus, I really like that the acronym for that name is PAP.
Pat.
Yeah. So I'll just leave everyone to figure out what that is. Okay, let's jingle, Tim. Let's get into it. We've been delayed enough by the Grinch gremlins, otherwise known as Caden. Let's get going.
That's a bit of a collective effort from everyone, I guess. But yeah, we're jingling.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 151 of the Quick Resume podcast. It's if you're just joining us and you're thinking this has been a weird week, you'd be right. It's been really weird, fellas. I don't know if you have had your nose to the ground. That's not the expression. I don't know if you've had your ear to the ground this week, but the Game Awards happened. Microsoft Flight Sim is still happening. Stalker 2 is kind of still happening, and then we had Avowed previews kind of go out in the last 2 hours. So we've got a good bit to get into this week. It's quite a good episode, I think, to oscillate between anger and joy. So, fellas, I don't really know where to start. I haven't been playing anything else. I have got nothing to report other than the usual stuff of Metaphor and Phasmophobia. Does anybody in the pool have anything new to talk about?
I don't know. No. Caden?
No, sorry. Yeah, I was looking through my library and I was seeing if anything popped up, and no, nothing new this week. Nothing new for me.
He's a Smite gamer now. Apart from
why don't you tell us about Smite 2? Yeah, I want to hear about Smite 2 like officially.
Well, I've been playing that on and off for like a few months, and it's good fun to jump on when they release new gods. They release them in like 2 or 3s, so it's good fun. And yeah, it's just you know, obviously we've all got our history of Smite, and it's still scratching that itch that I don't have otherwise. So I guess the way of getting that is, this for the last batch of gods was Izanami, Kepri, and Ra. So three. Yeah, I was playing a game the other day.
I wish I could have saved them.
There was a crit Kepri, and it was fucking he was busted. It was so good.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort Deck went into with that. He really gave it some.
I thought the announcement was. I thought the announcement pack was just went off in the background.
He really did not.
Yeah.
He gave that a good go.
And then next week,
Sherry.
or big second week of December, I think they're doing Thor, Poseidon, and Cupid.
Is my fuck Cupid, man? Is my boy Anubis
Scoop.
in?
Yeah, he's.
What does he look like?
They've changed.
Nice graphics.
He looks great. He looks brilliant. I don't know how up to date you are, but his one he can now move. He can move during his one.
Yeah.
And his ult now does a burst of damage and then ticks.
I don't think I played that change, but I played the one where you could move with this one. Yeah.
But same old goobs.
Sometimes do you like scare yourself with the amount of knowledge you have about Smite? And I don't just mean you, I mean all of us. Like sometimes someone will say something and I'll be like, yep, man, book of Thoth, hit the 2, switch into the ult, and I'll just
I
I'm
thought
like,
you're a little
why?
Thoth boy, aren't you?
Why do I still remember that? Yeah, I don't
know.
know. Do you guys get that where it just comes up and you're like, I need to make space for something else in my brain, but it's still
Yeah,
there.
it's weird how we remember like builds or like fucking like matchups or like rotations, but you know, useful shit. Nah, fuck that.
No.
Yeah, sometimes I just like beads in real life. Like I like burn myself on the hob and I just beads.
You blink sometimes as well. You're like,
I worked out during a red light the other day and I tried to use Aegis. It didn't work.
Oh,
I'm in a wheelchair.
That's rough, man. When the Aegis doesn't work.
If only Kepri was there.
Mistimed it, clearly.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's all I've been kind of playing with. And then obviously my fighting
cool.
games I'm jumping on every now and then. Pretty sure Ghostface came out on MK a couple of days ago, so gonna play him at some stage.
Awesome.
Other than that, yeah, nothing too much.
Nice.
Excellent. Oh, the only thing I wanted to say is, Tim, I meant to message you earlier about this. In Metaphor, have you got to the Virgo Island yet?
No, I'm still in the sea town. I saw your tweet that you said he's gone. I think he knocked out his internet cable. He always does this. I saw him bashing his desk. And I bet you that's what he's done. The moment I saw you bash your desk, I was like, he's gone. Yeah, it's over. All right, he's back.
That's exactly what I did. I was like, and it just fell apart.
Yeah, I saw your tweet that apparently the soundtrack is kind of a bop there. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just going through Metaphor really slowly, but I'm like 30 hours in, and I'm like just I don't know, like I'm still relatively new inside that sea town, Briarhaven or whatever. Like I only arrived there like a couple of hours.
That was my last place. That was my last place. So.
But like I'm just kind of enjoying it. I spend a lot of my time obviously just like choosing what I want to equip and weapons and buying and archetypes and flicking all that around. So obviously you spend quite a lot of time in the menus.
But I cannot blame you spending time in the menus. Those menus are incredible.
Oh, they're so nice. They're
so
divine.
Nice.
Yeah. Although I do feel like they can be a bit of a visual clutter sometimes. I kind of lose myself in them sometimes, whereas the Persona 3 Reload ones were a lot more like clean. Like you just knew what was going on immediately while it being stylish. Because I have a real thing with Metaphor. I don't know if it's just you, Deck, but I really fucking struggle to like read the text as well on the like items. That like light blue text they use where it's like, oh, give like ice damage, like increased ice damage on this weapon or something like that. I can't read that on the white background. I'm like fucking squinting and I've got like a headache after like 2 hours.
It might be your monitors. Like, do you have
it's my
HDR
TV.
Or, it's on your TV. Does that have HDR or like the whites? Do you have it tuned in on like the white level and things like that?
Maybe not. I've never had that issue anywhere else. But I mean, I gotta admit, light blue text on a white background is not the best choice. But
I mean, yeah.
But yeah,
or you need glasses.
Yeah, or any glasses. Yeah. But I do find sometimes that's a bit annoying. Like I'm like genuinely really trying to read what the fuck is on this item. But apart from that, yeah, grand old time.
Cool. Yeah, you'll know exactly what I mean when you get to the Virgo Islands, and that you won't even know, you won't even be aware. You'll just hear the beat, and you'll think of me. You'll think of me. I felt like I was like the Borderlands logo for a second there. I was like, yeah, it's so good.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, so I've not. We keep doing this thing where we like start the show with like the more casual news, like the big thing, and then we speak about that for so long that we end up like not getting much time to talk about maybe some of the stuff that we'd have more of a niche interest in, like some of the Xbox things. So I guess I think maybe should we just start with Avowed? I think maybe because that like just happened in the last few hours. It's kind of fresh. It's the thing everyone's talking about.
Sure.
And maybe we can come back around to sort of the Game Awards if we've got time. So for the uninitiated, Avowed is Obsidian's new RPG. It's set in the world of some of their previous games, Pillars of Eternity, which are like classic RPGs. You know, it's like top down, bird's eye view, and they're very like they're very old school. Not much hand holding, lots of like wading through menus. Very old school PC games. I really tried. Have you guys tried to play one of them?
No.
Maybe I may have. Let me.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah, go on.
I gave it a go because they're all in Game Pass now, and they've done like definitive editions and stuff. And it's like,
Are they? I had no idea those were in Games Pass.
yeah, of course they're Obsidian games, so they're Game Pass.
Oh, sweet.
And this was like one of the straws that broke the camel's back for me. That I was like, I just don't think this genre of game is for me because this is great. Like I'm really liking this, but I'm just like I'm finding it so hard to just like there's no voice acting. Like it's all just line delivery, and you have to really figure out where you're going. And that annoys me in games, even when I understand that that's the purpose and that's really going to appeal to a type of person. When I'm just like trying to get A to B, and I'm like, I can't remember the exact thing that someone said to me in my last play session. It's like I find that so frustrating. Like I'm okay when there are like puzzle or exploration heavy parts where the game is like trying to is saying warm or cold, or you're hot or cold, but like just to have the whole game be that, it's like I just get lost. Like I don't have time for like massive play sessions, so it feels like one of those things. If it's all you did 24/7 for like 2 weeks, I bet you'd have a grand time because you wouldn't forget and get lost. But I really enjoyed everything about it, but I was just like, but this just isn't for me. I can't get into this. Maybe at some point in the future, but for now, it just wasn't for me. So Avowed's coming up. It's been fair to say, guys, isn't it, that Avowed has had a bit of a rough ride since its reveal. It got revealed in 2020 at Xbox's then E3 showcase, and it had this really slick, like in-engine, like you're in like from first person, sword in one hand that like glows up with magic, and he does this like Doctor Strange finger spell. And it twists it, and then there's this like dark, you're like in a dungeon, and this cave like lights up, and it looked like we said at the time like a Balrog was going to come storming out of there. It looked like very classically grim dark fantasy. And then we come to the next year, we start seeing gameplay, and it's actually a lot brighter than that. Aesthetically, there's like it's very colorful actually. And that seemed to have really put a lot of people off, that there was this big change in tone. But since then, there's been like a yearly, I would probably say a preview a year, and since then, all the updates we get are like, this is better than I thought. This is better than I thought, and that has happened like every year. And then we've had the final preview now, where loads of outlets seem to have got to play with it from anywhere between 2 to 20 hours, and it's looking largely positive. It's looking very positive, actually. So I suppose I just wanted to throw it to you guys and ask kind of if you've had a chance to see some of the previews, listen to some of them, or if not, just sort of where we're at, because this is probably one of the last few times we'll speak about Veld up until its release, and it's been a long time coming, really. So yeah, Tim, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I would agree that Avowed has had a bit of a rough journey, and I think I think it all just stemmed from that first trailer, didn't it? I just don't think that's how they wanted to convey it. I mean, maybe they were like instructed to convey it in a certain way back in that time, but like they've always said that they never really had like a shift in direction. It was always looking how it is and how they eventually showed it. So for whatever reason, they decided to make the trailer seem a bit more dark and gritty. And yeah, I just think that gave it a bit of a not the jump start I needed. But I think I haven't watched obviously the most recent ones that literally have just come out because I like finished work and came here, so I haven't actually watched that yet. But based on rumblings of how it's looking and past previews, like yeah, the game is always shaping up to be very positive. I don't think it's ever shaped up to be like an absolute groundbreaking experience. You know, I think they've done quite a good job at I wouldn't say they're grounding their own game, but you know, they immediately came out and said, "Oh, nice, yeah, I didn't mean to do that. So good I am."
Oh, well done. Well done.
But I don't, yeah, because they came out quite quickly and said like it's not like a massive open world game. You know, it's like it has like its large like hub areas, and it's going to be a bit of a contained story and stuff like that. So, yeah, I feel like they've basically just kind of got everyone's expectations for that, and no one's been like crazy hyped as a result of that because everyone's kind of just like, oh yeah, it looks great, you know, Pillars of Eternity, all that sort of stuff, but and Obsidian just do what they do, but like it's not giving off this like insane like AAA energy, right? And I think that just immediately kind of keeps people interested, but not enough to like just wish list it or to, you know, like create some super like hype around it. But everything I've ever seen about the game has been so positive. You know, so like obviously it's had like its backlashes for like, you know, like enemies like being hit and reacting to it and stuff like that, which they've worked on and everything like that. But generally speaking, every time someone's got hold of it, they said they've had a really good time with it. And it's just a fun RPG, you know, it doesn't, yeah, that's kind of my and that's kind of how I feel about it as well. Like I feel like I haven't really changed my tone on it. Like I would say I was more hyped when I saw the initial trailer, but then I'd say I've remained pretty hyped. It's remained quite a anticipated game for me. It's never really dropped. So yeah.
No, I'll be really interested to hear what you think when you do get round to listening to or reading some of the previews. I think I've got the link to like the IGM one now.
Are they? Is it video as well? It's not just articles. Okay.
Everyone has been able to record their own footage, so it's not like canned. You know, not canned. What am I trying to say? They haven't controlled
scripted
footage that's been sent out.
Yeah,
yeah, right. Everybody has got their own footage, so there's loads of footage out there now. For loads
cool.
Of people.
Yeah, I'll definitely be giving that a watch. Yeah.
What do you think, Hayden? How are we feeling about Avowed as we come into the final round of previews here?
I mean, yeah, like I'm Obsidian stuff is always pretty good stuff, so I'm very excited to see how they take on what feedback they're being given on Avowed, and like what gripes and issues people have come up with, and how they're actually going to approach it. Like I have faith in them that they'll absolutely take it on and make something good happen. Like I've not seen these previews just yet. Like Tim's saying, like literally just finished and kind of sat down and had food and had a chance to watch it just yet. But after this, I probably will just go about and give that a watch. But it's a game I'm certainly interested in.
You've never been like crazy into this game, have you? Like right from the get go.
No, I'm probably not as crazy hyped as you both. But that's not to say I'm not excited for it, because I am. But it's not one of those games that I'm like over the moon about. I'm just interested to see where it goes and if it's good. Well, no, not you know, I'm definitely going to give it a go. I'm just probably not as hyped as you two. But I think that kind of a little bit. Do you remember obviously when that first trailer came out? Like, I think that was quite a big thing for me, was that change in shift. But then that was a while ago, and the game was never intended as that. So clearly that was just an error rather than like, you know, any backtracking or anything like that. That was just clearly a bad trailer. for what they were trying to show off.
But it is fair. It does remain to be seen a little bit with some of it because, of course, like from what we know, like this is still like quite dark and like thematically, if you know what I mean. And it's not like it's not a funny game. It's not like the Outer Worlds. Like there's comic relief in there in the same way that Obsidian are with all of their games. Like Pillars of Eternity, has comic relief as well, but they're still like quite dark. They're still really dark fantasy games. It's fair to say the footage we've seen probably threw everyone off because it takes place in a colorful part of the world. Colorful not being like joyful and happy, but colorful being there are just colors. And I guess that's the real crux of it, isn't it? That when we saw the trailer, it's like, oh, this is like conventional dark fantasy, but this actually isn't conventional dark fantasy, and that definitely threw some people off considering dark fantasy is really popular. It's really in vogue.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think it helps with like the enemies they decided to show off and stuff like this. I don't know. The skeletons look kind of goofy and stuff like that, right? I mean, I think skeletons are kind of goofy anyway. I like if you're showing a trailer, I don't feel like you should ever show a fucking skeleton like enemy. That should never be your first enemy you show. No one cares. Like they're boring and they're goofy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair to say. As I say, we'll be interested to hear thoughts when you've kind of had a look through and scrubbed through some of the previews, because there definitely seems to be quite a bit of variety here. And I just wanted to give a shout out because I was just scrolling through to see who got like preview access and everything. And I stumbled across a channel called Force Gaming, which is, I'm saying it like it's a small channel. It's like over 1 mil subscribers, and they've said, I've played 20 hours of Avowed. Brackets early review, and I've just put the link in the description, but I'd really recommend everybody go and give that a watch if you're like really seriously interested in it, because I didn't know who this person was, and they seem fairly disconnected from like the Xbox bubble, the media bubble, and things like that. So it felt like quite an earnest kind of take on like, I didn't know what Avowed was and I played it, and these are my thoughts. So I'd really recommend you go and watch that, because he has some really good things to say that I think will really inform you if you are interested about Avowed. Because again, we're talking from people who like watch a lot of trailers and everything like that. Most people won't know this whole drama between of how the game looked at CGI in 2020 with the in-engine trailer versus now. So I do wonder like how appealing will this be to a Game Pass audience, right? Especially if it does end up being quite good. I mean, what do we think? Do we think it could end up being quite is there hit potential here, or do we think it isn't AAA enough, isn't hyper realistic enough, it ends up shirking away into kind of okay.
I don't think it's going to be I think similar to Outer Wilds. I think it's very much agreed. Worlds. It's a very good game. Worlds, same thing.
It's so confusing. Tim always has to correct me.
Yeah, like it never popped off, but it's universally agreed good game. If you like Fallout, then you'll like this game. I think it's a very similar vibe with this. It's like if you like Skyrim or that very similar kind of RPG, then you'll like this. And I think it's going to have that same energy. Personally, it might have a bit more oomph in regards to like Skyrim not really being around for a while, or that kind of first person like ARPG kind of thing. Not ARPG, but RPG kind of vibe. So it'll fill that role well. And I think maybe I'm wondering if the Dragon Age fiasco will work in its favor as well. Maybe people are looking for another kind of RPG to have a little itch.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I think it will. I think who was I? I don't know if it was IGN. It might have just been IGN's who said that like I was really happy to learn, because they could only play one part of the game, but they got unlimited access to it and could capture their own footage. But it was essentially they could make their own character and play through all of that. And I think it was Destin who was doing the review, said, I'm really happy to find out that I could be as evil as I wanted, which I know was one of the things people said about Dragon Age, but also Starfield as well. Like you couldn't really be evil in Starfield. You couldn't really have any evil companions. Everyone was just kind of a bit goody-goody. So, I mean, I think that side of it certainly will work in its favor. And then we've never doubted Obsidian's ability to like do good, well-rounded RPG mechanics. It's everything else, honestly, that's kind of the worry with Obsidian. And I think the problem is with that initial trailer is that it gave this real big AAA hyper-realism vibe in a way that maybe it isn't. Yeah.
Which weirdly for me, I think was actually I don't know. It was almost a little bit more of a positive. I don't know, because it almost gives off the impression that they didn't bite off more than they can chew. You know, like they're making a game that they can make, you know, and make well, and they can write their stories and quests and make them cool and have meaningful choices, but it's just not as big as Cyberpunk. It's not as big as Starfield, and I think that's fine to have it as its own contained experience, because it just means they can polish up the other stuff. You know, so for me it wasn't necessarily a massive kick in the nuts that it wasn't, you know, another Witcher, another Cyberpunk, or anything like that. It's quite refreshing. So, and they're just doing cool shit with the combat. I like that you can just dual wield stuff, and just everything just looks really cool. It's like the magic in this game. I am never a magic guy, like at my deck, like literally just like never. But I probably
rogue.
Yeah, I'm definitely sort of more rogue, sort of
bow, thief archetype.
Yeah. But I want to do fucking magic in this game. Like, I want to whip out a grimoire and start waving my finger around and casting runes and shit. Like, it looks really fun. So, yeah, if they just keep heading in that direction, I think they're going to do it. But I agree with Caden. I don't think it's going to be a breakout hit. I think it will come out and it will get, you know, probably some decent numbers, and it will do fine, and it will probably drop like mid to low 80s, your classic Obsidian sort of score. You know, and I think it would just be a really great game that I think will be quite overlooked and a little bit of like an underdog sort of game. Yeah.
I've got a question just to follow up with that. Like, why? Let's say the game comes out and it reviews in like 88, 89, 90. Let's just say, like, hypothetically, do you think it would still? Is there something about it which would still hold it back from breaking out to you? And when I say breakout, I suppose the thing I'm kind of thinking for is, you know, maybe it gets 100k concurrent on Steam. You know, reviews are really good. There's a lot of word of mouth. You know, I mean, you know, gets into top 5, maybe top 10, and get most played on Game Pass or Xbox. What do you think? You know, I suppose the question is it just scores or quality that's holding it back, really, or is there something else about it that might do that regardless?
You can go if you want, Ken. You can go first.
But yeah, I'm just having a little thinky think. I guess I'm just basing it off of their older stuff, you know, like Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I'm aware, that was quite popular. It was played quite a lot. Yeah.
I'm gonna check it.
Worlds was pretty popular.
It
was
never up for any kind of awards, or it wasn't winning any popularity contest.
It did get a Game of the Year nomination, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I don't really know what it is.
On Steam, it peaked at 20k.
Really?
So not massive numbers on Steam.
Wow. Okay. I guess it was Game Pass, I suppose. So probably people were playing it with Game Pass.
I don't think Games Pass was a thing then. I don't think it was in Games Pass.
That's a good question. Game Pass came out in like 20.
I remember paying for that game. I'm pretty sure.
I'll tell you why. It's because it was published. Xbox didn't own Obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did own Obsidian, but Outer Worlds was already being published by Private Division instead of Xbox, so it didn't come to Game Pass on launch.
Yeah, I definitely remember paying for that game. Yeah. But
I've got to say, I think that it's like the double anus of it kind of
The what?
holds it back.
It did sound. You just said anus, dude. Double anus.
The double anus. I cannot believe they put not one but 2 bum holes in Avowed. Double anus. Triple anus. Quadruple anus. Yeah, I think because Avowed has like really stepped up in the graphics department. Have you guys seen like the
Oh, it's
I've put like some
lovely.
screenshots
Those
at the
screenshots
bottom
were
of the
lovely.
documents. They look great, don't they? And it's
Mm.
it's like I think it always looks good, but each time we've seen it, like it has sharpened up. Like there's more attention paid to like lighting and reflections and everything else and texture quality maybe. But like it looks good. Like it's a good looking game in the environment. And then you look at the spells and that looks great too. You listen to the VA, the voice acting sounds good. Like all of it feels like to a AAA level. But then you'll see like a third person animation and you'll be like, or you'll see someone talk and you'll be like, so there's just like a couple of slices of the pie that are not at the same level as the rest of the package. And it's like, I think it's one of those things where you're only as good as your worst asset. You're only as good as your worst quality. So some people are going to see that and be like, this is so cool, this is so cool. And then they're going to see someone talk and they're going to be like, this is shit. This is the shittest thing I've ever seen. I'm never going to buy this. This is woke DEI shit. And then I've got to buy it.
God, you went in there.
Yeah. So I think that's always going to be the case for Avowed, to be honest. I think it could review in the 90s. I'm not quite sure it would ever pop off. I will do better than Outer Worlds. If I had to guess, it would probably concurrent around 50 or 60k, providing it like reviews well. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. But I think the game looks fucking fun, though. I'm looking at the combat. I'm like, this is actually the best melee combat I've seen in a game. I know that's not a high bar to clear, but I'm like, this looks really fun. There's like finishing moves. Have you guys seen this? Like you work down the stamina of something, and then you get to like do a finishing move. Yeah. There's like ragdoll physics. You get a hammer, batter people flying. There's parrying.
Not yet.
I haven't seen that. No.
Yeah.
Oh, there's parrying. Oh, there's parrying. I've seen parrying.
I believe you.
And I quite like just like the fantasy-ness of it. Like the game is like there is magic. You're fucking with magic. You get two loadouts, don't you? You can like swap between like a two-handed bow, and then you've got like maybe you could do your dual wielding wands. But you could be like, I like that you can really headcanon your own unique like battle mage kind of. Like I'm so buzzed to have a wand and a gun. That is so cool. I'm so buzzed to have a musket that I can fucking use spells with. That is so cool. Like I'm totally into that. And I've just seen some screenshots and pictures of like the skill trees and stuff. And I know they're kind of doing it in their own way and you find spells out in the world rather than acquiring most of them. So they're just kind of going in their own way with this. And I know it's because of Pillars of Eternity is a really unique universe, but I like that they're just really embracing like they're doing things here with like the build and skill system that like most RPGs like wince at. Even Starfield retreated a little bit into like leveling, whereas Skyrim it was a bit more like you level up by doing stuff, and then everyone's out the blacksmith like repeatedly making shin pads so they can level up the blacksmith.
1,000 daggers, iron daggers. Yeah,
I always really liked that. Like I like fun systems like that. With RPGs. So I'm feeling really good. Like as I'm watching the gameplay, I'm like, it looks smooth, man. It looks snappy. It looks responsive. It looks fun. It looks like there's a lot of variety here, and I don't know anything about the story really, other than that it's like there's a dream scourge, which is like a plague, and it's infecting the land, and you're a godborn. Fuck, I can't remember what they're called, but that like plays into the story because you don't know.
Dragonborn. I think it's called.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Dragonborn, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't know which god is yours. That like plays into the story somehow. I'm super buzzed for this one, guys. I'm really excited. I really hope they nail it. I'm really like rooting for the team. I'd be absolutely devastated if this came out and it was like in the low 70s. I'm really rooting for this. I think it looks really fun. And I'm just like, I haven't played like a first-person melee fantasy game in so long.
Yeah.
I've played like a Skyrim like in so long, and I'm really into that.
I played a little like an FPS slasher on Steam like Next Fest, and it got me in the mood for like a first-person actual like RPG kind of thing.
So, yeah, for sure. But would you not put Starfield in the same camp as this, just because Starfield is just more shooty McShoot phase? Even though pretty much every other system, from quest to dialogue to kind of how the animations look, will be very similar.
It's like when I put Skyrim in the same. in the
Yeah.
same category of Starfield? Like, not
I
really.
kinda
I mean,
do.
yeah, it's an RPG, but it's like it's a different vibe. It's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, Starfield sucked.
I'm not shooting. I'm not shooting in Avowed.
You just said you have a musket and a wand. You shoot both
I'm not
of those.
mostly shooting. I'm
Yeah, it's
kind of
basically
shooting.
Starfield.
Yeah, your logic sounds very flawed right now, dude.
No, it does not.
Did you not find the wand in the Starfield DLC deck? You can dual wield wands.
No, I guess not, man. Maybe that would have made it crash less.
Good.
No, I don't think it does. Not to me. No, it's why I have such an urge to go and play something like that. Like I don't think anything has really touched it since Skyrim for me. Like, no games try and do that. No games try and do like open world, fantasy RPGs. It's so rare. First person open world RPGs. Like, it's all third person shit.
Mm.
And I really like the immersiveness of the first personness.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm excited, man. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. And I think even if this came out this year and it retained its same release date, I would have played this over indie.
Didn't we literally just pass the release date, or is it December? I can't remember.
No, it's like Feb, isn't it?
No, as in what it was.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
we
was
did, yeah.
it was supposed to
It
be
was last week.
Yeah,
I knew it was
yeah,
close. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm happy to wait for it. But yeah, no, it looks good. I'm excited.
Cool. I don't think I've anything else to add there. I don't think I do. Oh, the only other thing was that there seems to be a dialogue history and lore tab, which I'm like all about. Is what Metaphor has, where like
Oh, it's so nice.
we might have already spoken about that actually.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
already spoken about that. We have, yeah.
I think we brought it up briefly, but yeah, I know. I'm kind of the same. Like sometimes I'm playing Metaphor and Tilly's just like talking to me, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I just press the left stick and I just read back what happened. I'm like, nice. Yeah, it's such a good feature.
Yeah. Sick. Okay. Let's come on to cloud gaming then. I posted about this in chat, I think, yesterday. But cloud gaming, you can bring your own games now, or 50 of them anyway.
50.
If it's one of the games, if it's one of the games that they've selected.
They're getting there.
They've only done
to be part of
50.
the
Oh god.
They've done 50. Yeah, they've done 50 in the first wave. So finally. You fucking know they've been going on about cloud for ages, and it's great that you can play your Game Pass games there. But there's so many times where I feel like, oh, this will be wicked. I'll play this game in bed. Oh wait, it's not in Game Pass. Can't do that. So, this useful to anyone? This useful feature to any of you?
I don't know. I don't know what the 50 games are. Probably not right now.
Balatro's in there, and that's all you need to know.
I've got it on my phone and my ROG and my PC, so I don't think I need to stream it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I'm glad I held out because otherwise, like, there's no cross progression. If there was, I'd have bought it already. But I wanted to keep my progression on my Xbox.
I haven't played Black.
I do think the cloud, like we've talked about cloud before, like I do think it's a generally great service, and it's a very good thing that they've got going. And it's cool that they're finally allowing you to stream a library. Now I'm assuming it's obviously a stepping stone, right? They're going to introduce more games into that cloud.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder eventually if it will just be any game that you own on the Xbox platform you can now stream. I don't know if they'll ever get to that stage because there's licensing and stuff, I'm sure. But
yeah.
I would like it to get as close to that as possible. Streaming wise, like it's like because I go away with work a lot, hence I bought a ROG Ally, but I would still like. I can still connect to the Wi-Fi with it. I can still I didn't download. I mean, I don't really have a list here, but like, I can see there's Hogwarts Legacy there, for example. I haven't got that downloaded. I'm like, oh, there's this update on Hogwarts I've not done in a while. Connect to hopefully a stable enough Wi-Fi and just stream Hogwarts Legacy. Like, that's not really an option on my phone. I would never play something like that on my phone. I mean, I know some people. There's probably smaller games in there that would be a bit more appropriate, but
like Balatro.
Yeah, perfect example. But there's games there that I would certainly probably stream more than download or things like that. And someone who hasn't got that other thing to play on, great thing to have in my opinion. Especially with like like Fire Sticks and laptops and what else have we got here? Like just general like Samsung TVs and stuff. Like you can pretty much stream what you want eventually. So I like it.
Good. Well, I suppose it's a really interesting question for you because you've got, you know, a lot of other portable devices, and you still think it's like, you know, this is this like completely redundant to you now, or like is this still have
No,
some
it's
use?
not redundant. It's something I will keep an eye on because there are a lot of games on my Xbox that I can't play on my PC. So if I could stream it, then I can play it on my ROG, which would be quite good to have abroad or whatnot. So it's still something I am going to look at and keep an eye on that library and see what I can and can't stream. So yeah, it's still practical to me, definitely.
Cool. And I guess it's like if you are like Caden and that is something that you think is going to be useful for you, it's like double as helpful because all your saves transfer across all your devices, you know. So it's like I think if you're someone who does that, a lot of gaming on different devices, I could definitely see there are times where you're like, oh shit, yeah, I've started this on my PC. I can play on my Xbox now, but actually I want to keep going with this save on cloud. And you can play cloud, like you said, on your ROG Ally as well. So yeah, I do wonder how many people will even understand this. Do you think people understand what cloud is? I was having this conversation on Twitter the other day. Do you think people understand what streaming games is?
Probably not, because I talk to people and they don't know what Games Pass is, and it's like, why not? Or why don't you know what Games Pass is?
Why the fuck not? Do you know who I
So
am?
yeah, so I don't trust many people to know what cloud gaming is, if I'm honest, which is a shame.
Because well, 'cause I was having a back and forth with one of our subscribers actually about this, and you know the point was like it's like Netflix. You know, you just stream your movies. You know, the point was made that that's like the point of similarity, a reference point. But I just don't know if people quite process that in the same way. Like they understand that Netflix just like magically comes out their TV, but I'm not quite sure they understand that they're streaming it from a server somewhere else. I think they just think that it's just there, it's just in the TV. So when you start thinking about games, it's like, wait, I'm interacting with it and it's coming from somewhere else. How does that work? Like, is it even going to work well? You know, I don't know if people like your casual, your normie has their head around that. I mean, Tim, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would kind of. What did you say?
Method Man.
Oh, yeah, no, I think I would agree with that. I don't think people fully understand that when you do these sort of things, you are literally just like remoting, yeah, like onto a server that's somewhere else and it's streaming to you, and yeah, the inputs you're pressing and then being inputted over there. Yeah, people do not understand the concept of that. But then I don't know, man. I don't really think they need to at the same time as well. I feel like you can just market it just casually. Like people can just think it's magic. That's fine. Like as long as they're doing it and they understand, oh wow, I can just do this from my Fire Stick. I don't know how it works, but like it's fine. Like I don't really feel like you need to like sit down with the casual audience and be like, so this is how it works. So there's a server over in New Zealand, and you know you don't need to do that. But yeah, I feel like again it just comes down to how it's marketed, I think. But yeah, I mean obviously there's definitely something in cloud gaming, right? Because why would they have chosen to go down this route otherwise? Like they would have kept it with just Games Pass, you know, but obviously it's performing to an extent that they like, so and how they can tie it in with their future and where they want to go business wise in the future, that they're pumping a lot more money into it, because this shit ain't easy to be able to do, like cross save and between different platforms and do all that outside of Games Pass. Like that's not an easy thing to do. Like you're gonna have to contact the developers and work with them and sort all that out for an insane, well, pretty much an endless library, to be honest.
Yeah,
So yeah.
quite interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think this is definitely something that I will be able to use a bit more now that it's fully fleshed out. We've been hearing about this for years, and it seems like Aiden said, it seems like really there was a lot of licensing issues that's caused a bigger headache than maybe they thought it would have. Um, so cool, great. Another win for the good news for Xbox for this week. Oh, final thing. Um, there was a bit of a drama about Avowed frame rate
Oh,
last time we heard about it. How would you feel about Avowed if it was 30? Because they haven't they said to in one of the interviews today, I want to clarify that 30 frames per second on Xbox Series X is not our target. We will hit that at the very least. We're fully into performance optimization right now, and we want to deliver a beautiful world at the best frame rate we possibly can, and we're working on that right now. Like so, I totally forgot about that. But like, what's is this? I'm not playing it if it's 30, or is this like a deal breaker or not a deal breaker? What's the deal?
I'm going to be playing it on my PC, so
You'll be fine.
yeah, you're fine.
Not going to be an issue for me. I do think but to be fair, if I were playing games on my Xbox that were 30, I don't know. I can't help but be disappointed in that 30 figure. Like, I think the games or the systems that we have now are powerful enough. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what was the last like Starfield, not Starfield. Yeah, Starfield was 30, wasn't it?
It was a launch, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing about Redfall as well at the time. That was a big controversy. Not that it mattered.
That one didn't matter.
They did give it. They did give it.
There's just something
about
Hellblade.
That.
Help with it. I don't remember playing Hellblade at 30. What, 2?
Hellblade 2 was 30, yeah.
Oh, PC. Sorry.
I don't know if it. I guess you could turn it up. I mean, did you manually crank it up? I think by default it would have been at 30.
I was on my PC. I was on like 80 or something.
Okay. I don't think Hellblade is really the same because.
But that's a slower, more, yeah. But yeah, I from a personal perspective, I would be disappointed with 30, and I think I would be with any game really to be 30. But I don't know, maybe that's me being a bit more pedantic, I suppose. That I know you're maybe a bit more lenient on your frameage.
Us peasants.
No, that's not what I
mean. Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like I'd be pretty disappointed if this came out at 30. 30, I don't think. Again, I think 30 lends itself to the type of game it is, how it feels. Sometimes the 30 can feel pretty good, but it's not that common. Most of the time you can kind of notice it, and it kind of takes away a little bit. So I think we'll have to wait and see, but I feel like the sort of game this is, where with the sort of combat they've chosen to go with, and the fact that you can like switch in an instant and combine and do all sort of crazy shit, I think it's a little bit more, it's a little faster than other RPGs in the same sort of areas there, like Skyrim and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I would play it for sure. But I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I'd be disappointed if it was 30. I want it to be 60.
Same. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of how I felt about Starfield as well. Like, it was a bit disappointing. Ultimately, it didn't end up hampering the experience too much because it was locked, and they've done a really good job with motion blur. You know how sometimes there's like good 30 FPS and like bad 30 FPS. Like sometimes it just feels like complete wank, even though it is they're running at the same frame rate. Some games do a really good job of smoothing it out. And Starfield, they did do a good job of smoothing it out. I still would have preferred it was 60. And when I went back to play the DLC, I played it at 60, and it was much better. But with these first-person games, I kind of feel like it should be a higher priority. Especially like you said, with the melee combat, where there's a lot moving around on the screen at once. It like helps with responsiveness and fluidity. So I hope they're able to get 60 in, even if it's like unlocked. That would be fine by me. Or even like go for 40. Go for 40.
Yeah, anything's an improvement.
10 more frames, can you?
Yeah,
I know some games have been doing that recently, like going for 40, and it's been received.
What about 45?
I don't think you can do 45. Sorry.
Okay,
It's not a thing.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it fits in with a refresh rate. I'm not clever enough to explain why, but I think there's a reason they don't do 45. It doesn't fit with the refresh rate on the TVs or monitors. Or maybe it's just magic. Yeah, I kind of fucking know.
It could be magic, to be fair.
Anyway, there you go.
It is Avowed.
I don't know.
What?
What's wrong with you?
Nothing, man.
He's just done.
Fine. So I've clearly had a bit too much sherry. I'm like at the bottom of it now, so there's not much left.
Why are you giggling like a weirdo? I'm feeling self-conscious now. What's going on?
No, nothing. Nothing's going on.
Random ass fucking picture in the chat. What the fuck is that? Well,
And
is that an
be knowing.
apple?
Sometimes I say I don't know and be knowing. Oh, I get it. How did you find that? Like, and just post that like mid
conversation.
What kind of fucking deep fried fucking subreddit were you on to find that mid conversation? You just get notifications when a new fucking crispy meme comes
New meme
out.
released.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should see my meme podcast. Like, so
You
guys, I've got
definitely
the
could do
apple
one.
saying I don't know, but I do know.
Let's analyze that for a minute. You know,
Yeah,
let's sit down and
let's unpack that.
yeah.
You definitely could make a meme podcast with the amount that you have.
There's not that many. It's only like 200.
There was one you did not that long ago that was really funny. Can't remember
thanks,
what
man.
it was.
I mean, as long as it's worth it, that's the that's the main thing. It wasn't that guy pulling his eyelids down because Caden mentioned KFC.
No, I think it was the I think it was the Shrek Yu-Gi-Oh card one that made me laugh.
Shrek Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah, the silence one. Use this card when you have nothing to say. I think you put that when Jamie Jamie says
Just incoherent. Right? It's just total mess. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really funny. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I was looking through my screenshots because I had a look. I got another one of those interactive Mewtwo's this morning.
Yo.
Yeah, I've got two
What's
of them
the rarity
now.
on that bad boy? Is that a crown?
It's like crazy rare. Yeah, it's like it's like the one of the 3 rarest cards in the game. I think that the Pikachu and the
But you've got the
Charizard.
gold background.
What do you
No,
mean?
you've got the full art where it like zooms in.
The one where it goes in to the card. It's the interactive one.
Oh, okay. You need to let me know what the actual rarity is on it.
Okay. But I
It's
think
very important.
I think it's one of the rarest you can get in the game. I think. I don't know, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 of them now. So one's up for trading. If one of you
You should just make a Mewtwo deck.
Suck
That
up
shit
to
is
me.
so busted. OP, triple god tier,
Mewtwo
dragon tier.
and Godwar. That's what the meta
It's wiggly
is,
tough, mate.
Fucking
That's
AIDS.
wiggly tough
So
meta.
AIDS. There's no wiggly tough meta.
There is.
Man, I've almost got 25 wins.
Oh, nice. I don't really battle too much on it. I feel like I should, but
No, me neither.
I kind of do Marvel Snap for that. Just use it as like a collection. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mostly me. Okay. I reckon we can probably go through these two quite quickly. So, Stalker came out. It's come out a bit. It's come out a bit mixed. I think there's like I think the narrative that's like going around at the moment is a bit harsh because the game's on like a 76 on Open Critic at the moment. Like that's a pretty good score. Unfortunately, it's probably quite extra frustrating because a lot of the reviewers can see that it's really good, like maybe one of the best in the genre and kind of the post-apocalyptic survival shooter genre. But it's just so buggy, and it's just continually frustrating. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's not like it's unplayable. It's not. We're not Cyberpunk on last gen levels of release here, but it's buggy enough that it's like feels kind of a bit
It's
unfinished.
ruining the experience a little bit for some people.
It's
Like,
dragging the
I've seen
experience
some
down.
viewers, some guys who are like, "There's a great game here, but like I can't physically play it anymore because I feel like these bugs and these experiences are ruining the game."
Mm.
Yeah.
Like 'cause sometimes the game can be bad and it's buggy, and it's like, well, that I don't care. But I think that's probably what is the most frustrating factor in this. Because I've
That
got
it's
it
good.
downloaded, and then I saw
Yeah.
the reviews, and I'm like, okay, this is a game I do really want to play,
Oh wait.
but I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
And because they said don't spoil it, don't spoil the game, like just play it in like I don't know 6 months time or whatever it is, however long it
Definitely.
takes for them to update it.
Yeah.
So
And it felt like Games Radar's review really captured that. They gave it a 3 out of 5 and said Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is the best but most broken game I've played all year. You know, really captures both
yeah,
ends of the spectrum there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that you have to, if you are playing a broken game, you have to review it as such. You know, as in, you know what I mean? That is the package. That's what you're paying money for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if it's badly released, I think it deserves bad reviews. But that's it's clearly a good game. So I just hope they can figure it out.
Yeah, it's just a really frustrating position to be in for the devs. I'm sure,
Of
you know,
course,
but I guess from Xbox's perspective, because it turns out actually this whole time I thought Stalker 2 was published by Xbox. It's not. It's self-published by the devs. Xbox have just helped. They've just supported the studio and ended up getting exclusivity rights. Um, so from their perspective, like I do want, like, how much longer are they going to delay this? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's been years and years and years that we've heard about Stalker 2 now, and it just kept getting delayed. Like, there had to be an end point here. And it sounds like they've done a good job for like most of the systems. It sounds like it's good. It's just it needed more polish, and like we weren't going to give you another year, or they ran out of funding, I guess maybe, you know, to just keep going for another year. And obviously, with everything that's been going on, I'm sure it was really the least of their priorities. But yeah, I don't know. Tim, what do you think? 'Cause I know I mean, all three of us did, but we spoke a lot about kind of the excitement around Stalker 2 and the potential of it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I can't deny I'm a little bit disappointed. Just in the sense of it would have been something that I would have played, like in the like this week or this month or whatever. Like definitely before the end of the year, I would have booted this up and played it. And now obviously I am not going to play it because, as Caden said, like why force yourself through something when something that could be pretty good and a great experience, you're just forcing yourself through it now at a worse having a worse experience just for the sake of just time where you can just wait. So it's a little bit disappointing in that sense. I'm sure eventually it's going to be great, and I hope this is one of those games that kind of gets like a re-review, like a 2025 updated review or something like that. I know they do that sometimes, but I know they do that a lot for like live service. I don't know if they've ever done that for like a like a single player experience, but I think it'd be quite nice to do that, to give it like an updated 2025 review or something, especially considering just that they've had a pretty rough time with everything going on, and trying to get this game over the finish line. But yeah, like Aiden said, if it's releasing in a pretty unplayable state, almost it's pretty damn buggy. You can't just give it special treatment. You have to review it as it is, but with what it could be in mind, and that's why the scores are still pretty decent. Like, because if there wasn't a great game under here, like this game would probably fall flat like a 60. We've seen loads of games do it, but like people can see it as a good game in there.
Like a
It's just
Redfall was like in the 50s.
yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah.
was buggy,
Bad
and the game
game,
wasn't all
yeah.
that great.
Yeah, but then you could see with Redfall that even if that game was polished and great and stuff like that, there's not much there on a substance level. Like it just didn't hit. Like just Redfall just wasn't it. So that review was very justified, and I think this one is too. I think all things considered, it's quite a nice. It's not a bad score to come out to at all. Like it's still a pretty strong score. And I think that just goes to show with what they've made and the ideas they have are super solid. They just need a little bit more time in the oven. you know, and it's a shame because I don't think it's the sort of, it doesn't have a crazy amount of like IP recognition behind it really, apart from like the OGs that love the original, you know. So to get a game popular and booming like right out of the gates, you know, it would have been helpful for this to be in a much more playable state. Didn't do itself any
You
favors.
say that, but it got and still is over 100k concurrent on Steam at the moment.
That's quite interesting. I wonder if it's just because it just gives Fallout vibes, maybe. Like you capture a lot of the Fallout audience there. Or maybe Stalker.
Dragon Age Veilguard got 80k. So it's performed better in concurrent players on Steam than Dragon Age Veilguard has.
And that's on Steam as well.
Wow.
It's not even Games Pass, where it's obviously just comes out day one. So that is quite interesting actually. But I mean, yeah, it sounds like, you know, regardless of scores could be higher and stuff like that, it sounds like they've actually had a pretty good release. You know, I'm sure they're not too disappointed with that. They're probably quite happy with that right now, and they've got some work to do to make it a much better experience. So, you know.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning, you know, the studio has gone onto Twitter and said, you know, thank you so much, etc., etc. You know, we're devoted to polishing up. We've seen your feedback. So, you know, I think this will be a really good one to play. And I, from what just to clarify, from what I understand, it is faring a bit better on Xbox than it is on PC. It seems to have most of its issues on, or not most, maybe it has more issues on PC.
Okay.
So I just hope it's still in Game Pass by the time it's you know, all scrubbed up, because clearly there's, you know, a lot of people have been clearly bought into this idea of the Stalker world. You know, I definitely had. I've never played a Stalker. I've only really dipped my toes into the Metros, but I was really on board with this. You know, like Game Pass, it's looking good. Yeah, I was like you. Yeah, I would have happily. This would have been my next game after Metaphor if this had launched a bit better.
And
For now, I'll
Genshin.
be waiting. Does Genshin ever end? Is there an after Genshin?
No. Genshin ends when we end.
We end when Genshin ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I was kind of thinking we could give that a go tomorrow, but yeah.
I'll give it a go. I don't understand it, but I'll give it a go.
It's over 100 gigs, so get it downloaded.
Oh, is it really? Jesus.
Yeah, it's a big game. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second thing, which was, you know, part of the roller coaster this week, you know, we've done the good news, we're on to the bad news. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 came out. Or did it? You guys probably haven't heard about any of this, but it hasn't been a good launch.
I caught wind of it, yeah.
The servers ain't been working. No one's playing the game. People are getting in. The game's fucking not working because all the UI is on the server side. You know when games do that, when they run the UI on server side, like Sea of Thieves does it, Halo Infinite did it. So if the server is busy, shit just doesn't load in. You're like watching a menu load for ages. I you know, I don't understand enough about dev to understand the rationale for doing that, but the game seems to have been. It's one of those cases where the game has been a lot more popular than they anticipated. And there just has not been capacity to cope, especially because most of the game happens on cloud. So if one part of it goes down, it all fucking goes to shit. You know, I've seen like big flight sim enthusiasts expressing their disappointment, saying like, I've been able to have one flight in 24 hours. And the flight sim Twitter account like frantically like, we've done this bit. We know this bit's still not working. We're onto that now. It's not that the game that's there isn't good. It is. It just isn't. People aren't able to get into it. Reminds me of like Diablo 4 launch day and things like that. It's just having some of those classical launch day issues, which is a bit disappointing because Flight Sim 2024 should really be, you know, a slam dunk. That should be a really easy win. I know that's so reductive because they're such complex games when they're doing so much technologically, like really impressive stuff. But still.
Is it affected my neck? Has it affected launch reviews or anything like that? Like have reviews started dropping? I don't know.
Well, this is the interesting thing. You know, Caden mentioned this before, but like people seem to be holding back their reviews. Most of the critics seem to be can't even get into the game. There's nothing to review because most of them can't get into the game.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, of course, the game's going to be dinged for it, and that's I don't know. Like, how do you guys feel about that? I think that's quite interesting, isn't it? The fact that a game can have some launch day issues that last, let's say, 3 days, and then a score will be attributed to it, which lasts its lifetime. You know, it could never have those issues again, but it may lose like 5 or 10 points, like forever.
Don't release a game that doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's not like it's buggy. It's just people are not able to kind of get in. Like, I think once they fix those issues and the floodgates open, I think it's a fully functional game. They're just funneling people in really slowly. So, like, because there's that difference between Stalker, right? Where Stalker, like, everyone's playing it, but there's just so much wrong with the actual game itself. Whereas Flight Sim is just like fucking just the servers for you guys to get in are not working. You know, once we get that sorted, you have a fully functional, probably 9 out of 10 like simulator game you've all been waiting for. So yeah, I do kind of agree with. It might be quite harsh to give it a bad score just because people maybe can't get in for the first 24 hours or whatever. But like, I don't think you should give it a bad score. I think they should do something to make it up to the people. Like, don't get me wrong, just give them like a fucking plane for free, like a plane skin or something. I don't know how that, if they've got micro a real plane. I don't know if they have like microtransactions or anything like that, but maybe just do something like that. I think it's a bit harsh to just like drop a fucking 7 on it just because they couldn't get in the first 24 hours.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, to me, is like your job as a reviewer is to communicate to your audience like what a game is all about and the quality of a game. If you're going to drop, a review and spend a third of the review talking about how you can't get into the game, that's not going to be representative of most people's experience who are buying that game. Like, you're not. Most people who come to that review and read that are going to be buying it further down the line, and they're going to be like, "Why is this review on about server problems when there isn't any server problems? I don't understand." It's not that I have the answer. It's not that I think it's right or wrong. It's just it's a difficult dilemma that we have with the way we do reviews. I mean, I've always been this big advocate of like outlets need to do more frequent game updates. It holds devs accountable for bad updates, but good updates as well. Like, there's this whole thing where scores don't get updated. You look at these games like Siege or Sea of Thieves. I'm sure there's other examples where the launch was like, okay, fine, but steadily have become really good games. It doesn't matter. It's branded with a 60. It's branded with a 65 forever. And for the most part, that doesn't matter because word of mouth will kick in, that for core gamers. But for casual gamers who maybe like just have a quick look online, is this worth buying on a deal? No, it's only a 60. I'm going to leave it actually. When that's not representative of the game now at all. So I think, and then this is just this is obviously not quite the same because we're talking about releasing a review now versus maybe in 3 days. And I also do understand outlets should also communicate to their audience the game isn't working right now. So like, just do like temporary review. This is what I played so far. The game isn't fucking working. Don't buy it. Like, do not buy it. We'll release our proper review in next week when we can get in. I think that's okay as well to just do like a preliminary temperature check without branding a game forever. And of course, I'm not just talking about Flight Sim. I'm just talking about the process of how we do things launch and then we review in like a really traditional way, even though games have evolved, and that's not how games really work anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to when I said I hope Stalker gets a 2025 like updated release if they review if they fix it. Obviously, that's going to be a lot longer than the 3-4 days it takes for Flight Sim to get their shit together. But yeah, outlets should just release something just to be like, I wouldn't pre-order it, I wouldn't buy it day one because it's currently not working, but yeah, here's what I played so far, and just stay tuned for the actual review when I can fucking get in properly. Yeah. But yeah, by no means don't give the devs your money day one. That's punishment enough for the devs, right? They have to get their shit together and get their game working to get people's money. So
yeah,
I think that's what Steam does quite well. It has the lifetime review, so it might be like positive, but then it has like reviews based on like recent activity.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's quite good. So a game could overall be like positive, but then let's say they've released a really shit update with really dumb decisions, and it'll be like an overwhelmingly negative reaction to the game. It won't affect the score of the game itself, but someone who might be thinking of buying that game, they'll see a recent negative response to that game, or the other way around as well, of course, obviously with a negative game, but lots of positive reviews coming in. So it would be interesting to see how maybe that type of review could be a bit more like normalized, like like Dex had a bit more of a flexible kind of score, or maybe not necessarily flexible, but just kind of a bit of a appreciation to the fact that no game is the same from day one to year 2 or whatever. It's not the same game in a lot of cases.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great solution, and I know I'm a little bit cynical about this, but my only issue with that is that it's all user scores, and like
Yeah.
I'm so like just jaded. I probably shouldn't be, but I just feel like really cynical about user review scores. There's so many zeros, so many tens, and it's
Yeah.
like so you just end up with such grey data that you can't like it lands somewhere, but it's like it ends up so sensitive to change.
Lots of them are like troll reviews. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like
It's
you know,
the
but
same
game
every year. 10 out of 10.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's just not a good faith review, is it? And like
Yeah,
these are the
that's-
same sort of people who will like review bomb something because it has a trans character in it. Do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like there's a
Yeah.
black
Fair enough
protagonist.
if they've made a bad decision in regards to like microtransactions or blah 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 blah. Like an update has made it unplayable. Fair enough, but yeah, like just shit like that is just so pointless. Like
Yeah,
it stains a good game.
but it's even with that, like things are like popular things that are in fashion, like come in and come out, and so like it frustrates me a little bit that games are so reactive and will just like say that they don't like something because it's not in fashion, like I didn't want this to be this sort of game. I don't recommend. Um I find that kind of frustrating. It's like that's not really a good faith review of the quality, is it? Like you're just saying you don't like it because it's not. I don't know. I guess this is the problem with user reviews. Like I don't trust that they're fully honest
Yeah.
or good faith, like metrics of quality. Obviously, yeah, like the actual players can offer a perspective that maybe critics can't, because you could argue critics are out of touch or at times have a bias. Whatever. I'm just, it's just one of those things that I find hard to trust. And also, if I'm understanding correctly, I think Steam doesn't even do a 0 to 10 rating scale, do they? They just someone
It's
plays it,
positive
and
and negative.
they either click recommend or don't recommend.
Yeah.
So it's not really a true representation of a scoring system. It's just
No.
it's just like median data on,
But then is that
do I
not the
recommend or
same as
don't.
like open crediting stuff like that, where it's like the amount of positive reviews? No, it's not
Well,
actually.
no, because all the critics will offer their score on a scale of 10.
Score,
So
yeah.
yes, you
100,
you get different data. You could argue, I'm yeah. All right. Let's swing into our last topic then, which is the Game Awards. Game Awards happened this week, guys. We got the nominations. We had a bit of fun, didn't we? Talking about that last week. Who won, by the way?
Me.
Who got the
Ended,
bet?
I think.
I got
Was it you?
every
Was it?
single one right.
Everybody. Not predictable at all. Not fucking predictable at all. This Game Awards show.
Yeah, fucking Geoff. Fucking sellout.
Geoff. Yeah. Even though he has nothing to do with it, but fuck you, Geoff. Predictable Geoff. Yeah. Get out of there. Any words? Any words? Anything to say for anyone?
A little bit of I guess controversy behind Elden Ring, isn't there?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
people are butthurt about
People
Elden
are a
Ring.
little bit, but I do think it's funny because I
don't.
do think if it was, it's I'm quite interested in both sides of the discussion of this, because
Elden Ring had its game of the year.
Yes,
Fucking
it's had it.
Let someone else have a shot.
And in theory, it's taking up
Oh, wow.
an original game slot, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
taking up a
stupid.
new game.
Wow,
However,
Tim. You
have
want
to-
everyone to get participation trophies?
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
No,
Oh my
Elden
God.
Ring
But I
already
do
has
think
its...
Elden Ring DLC is different because it's like a 50, 60-hour expansion, whereas Astrobot, how long does it? What's that? 20 hours?
6 minutes.
Yeah. So like it's it's not like
Even though you
an
can't give
£8 add-on.
you can't
It's a
give
big
Game of the
deal.
Year to just playtime. Otherwise, Genshin would get it.
So no, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I do think it's clearly very, very good. But I think maybe we need to make a DLC slot. Maybe.
Yes, have a best
I think we should do that.
expansion / DLC section. We said that last week. Like, great. I'm sure Shadow of the Erdtree is like another game. That's great, but it's not another game. I'm sorry. It's still Elden Ring. Elden Ring literally got
to
Game of
beat
the
the
Year.
game. You need to beat the game to access it.
To have
So
it.
no, you need to beat Mog. You need to basically complete the game.
Yeah, well,
you
don't
need
say
to beat
beat
that blood guy. Yeah.
You need to drop 50 hours into it to even access the DLC.
Not true.
For most normies,
I got to know
for not most freaks, that's what you have to do.
No.
I beat it with a club, naked, 2 hours.
And it's like it's only 25% of the people have that achievement for beating that boss. So most people cannot even access the DLC that own the game. So I don't even see how you can find the logic to make sense of that being its own game. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree. But like, I just think like it's also just like a double sting because, like I said, Elden Ring already has Game of the Year. It already got it last year.
It's
so
not
like,
winning again.
Yeah, I know
Gonna
it's
win.
not,
That's
but like, why is it taking up that slot for another fucking game, another original game that's done a great job this year? Like, I don't know, fucking, I don't know. Could someone give me an example?
Helldivers.
Yeah, well, yeah. I feel like Helldivers deserves to be there more than fucking Shadow of the Erdtree. I can tell you that much. Way more. Fucking, I don't know, something else. But yeah, Lego Horizon. No,
Mouse Boy.
Well, actually, if you look, I've got the Open Critic link
I thought you
there,
were talking
which is
about
like best reviewed games. Mouse Boy.
Yeah.
Destiny 2: The Final Shape was a 91 expansion as well. Hey, do expansion.
What, this year? Oh yeah.
Tekken was a 90. I'm shocked.
Yeah,
Tekken didn't get a nomination.
That's true.
Game of the Year.
Why do you look at me like that's a freakish thing to say?
Because
it's the highest rated rate
about fighting games.
It's not a popularity contest.
It is though.
Tekken made it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel like
Tekken made it to best multiplayer and best fighting game.
Yeah.
Actually, I need to talk to you about best fighting game.
Oh god.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but I need to get back to that.
To say.
Okay. But yeah, I'd say overall I'm quite happy with the nominees, bar Elden Ring. I just don't think like it should be there. I just think it should be a different category. There's plenty of DLC that's released this year. They can make their own category, and it would win that.
It could even go into ongoing games. I don't understand why it couldn't even go into an already existing category.
Good point. Yeah, like genuinely.
And I think it's so funny because I don't know if you guys saw, like the day before the nominations went up, the Game Awards Twitter released like, a screenshot with a bit of text, and it was like, blah, 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 blah. For this reason, we think DLCs are, are qualified for a Game of the Year.
Trying to help with the backlash. They would
so you know that people are going to freak the fuck out.
Yeah. God, that's so ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I just don't think they fully thought it through, to be honest. I don't think there's anything like malicious going on here. I just don't think. I think the votes started coming in, and Jeff was like, "Oh fuck, yeah, actually, an expansion is going to be rated as the most highly one of the best things here." So, and I've just put it in the normal game category. Oopsie doops, should have done that. Yeah. That was the first thing, wasn't it? And then the second thing, I suppose, was Black Myth. I know I was joking around about it in the chat. I am half joking. I obviously respect that. It's coming. It's like a debut. Is it a debut? I don't think it's a debut game. It's like game from a smaller dev in China. Breakout hit in terms of popularity. It can look good. We've always looked at it over the years. I said, "Yo, this looks like it could be the next big thing," and it has been in some sense, So really impressive work in that regard. I am a bit surprised, as me and Caden keep shouting at each other about, is this whole like quality versus popularity thing. Black Myth, if you are to go on the Open Critic list, isn't even in the top, I don't think,
You got like
100?
82 or something, didn't it? Or like 80,
It's an 81 on Metacritic.
81.
Yeah, it's not even in the top 100 highest rated games this year. That's pretty mad to me. It's actually like every other game is, I think, if you have a look, is like a 90 or above.
Mm.
And it's not like there is an arbitrary threshold of like you need to score this much to get. I'm not saying that, but it's just
Yeah.
that there's so many other games that have rated higher which weren't positioned as a game of the year nomination, which I think is quite interesting. Like I think there's a good discussion there. You know, I mean, what do you guys think?
No, I do like that discussion because, again, it's a game I've not played yet, so I do really want to play it.
Same.
So I can't make my own judgment yet, but there's no doubt that it was one of the most popular games this year, the most successful single player game ever, like the largest concurrent players ever. It beat GTA and shit like that. Like it's pretty insane. But like, yeah, that's where we start comparing scores. You know, low 80s is still good, but when you compare things like Final Fantasy, Metaphor, and Astrobot, they're all like low 90s, mid 90s. Like, you know, that's a big score difference. That's the difference between a 60 rated game and a 70 rated game. Do you know what I mean? It's actually a huge score difference. So yeah, I do think it's a very interesting kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's not gonna win though. I don't think, in my opinion.
No, it's not going to win.
No.
Astrobot's going to win. There's no point even having a conversation. Astrobot has won.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That's where my vote is. My vote's an Astrobot.
I'd literally bet my house. I'd bet my baby. Like it's not even close. Astrobot is going to win. Astroboat, that I'd play that.
What are you actually voting for though? When we do the vote, what are you clicking vote on yourself?
I've done Astrobot.
You've done Astrobot. Okay. I guess you haven't really played Metaphor, Final Fantasy, or Wukong, or what was the other one? Is that it?
I've only played two.
Balatro.
Which is very disappointing for me.
Yeah. Were you going to vote, Deck? Balatro.
Hell yeah, brother! I'm Black Myth. Black Myth Wukong. Let's go. Best game. I haven't played
Nice.
it.
Is that Gibby or Deck? Whose vote was that?
Let's go, brother. Yeah. Because I think this whole thing about like it being such a successful game is extra interesting because you may remember this tiny little game called Hogwarts Legacy launched last year, and at the time that was the biggest launch on Steam ever, and no one ever considered for a second that it would be a Game of the Year nomination, and it reviewed higher than Black Myth. Like it's got a higher review score on the aggregates. So what's going on there? You know, what's the deal with that?
Roguelike. Not roguelike, Souls-like.
So I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair point.
It is
maybe
weird.
there is some novelty there because it's like, you know, it is drawing on Chinese mythology and there is some novelty there that got some critics really going, you know what? Yeah. It's not the best, but yeah, I will vote it as the best. I don't know. Or is it, I can't help but think it's just like, yeah, this feels like the one I should be voting because it's really popular. I don't know.
Just going
All
with
I
the
know
majority.
is if it was me, if I was the panel and I had to make this decision based on, and if I played every game this year, I would be looking, obviously I'd be going off my own experience. And if I felt the Black Myth was up there, I'd do that. But that doesn't seem to be the temperature I'm getting when I'm looking at the scores across the board. And I wouldn't be putting Black Myth up there with those other ones. It certainly, it looks like it's deserving of praise and definitely in some of those other areas, but as I keep saying, it has the same score as Hellblade 2, and nobody for a second thought the Hellblade 2 was going to get a Game of the Year nomination because the expectation, I suppose, was that Hellblade was maybe going to kind of get to the 90s, maybe a bit of an unfair expectation, but that was there. Maybe Black Myth had no expectations and therefore has kind of this uplift. I don't know. It's my sense that if you're doing this sort of thing, you should cut through those biases a little bit, try and cut through. I know those are my expectations, but is it really fair that if I look at this with an objective view, this is up there on the shoulders of giants? Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting one, isn't it? Because I feel like I feel like both things factor in, right? Like popularity, just how it sort of, took the world on its release. and score. I feel like everything kind of goes in, so you do kind of need to do a combination of everything. And I don't know. I feel like when Wukong is kind of like, 81, so a good score, but then its popularity was so ridiculous that I feel like that kind of evens itself out and just kind of brings itself up to that, like, like they kind of counterbalance each other a little bit. I don't have an issue with it being there. I don't think. I understand some of the discrepancies, but then I also think that it was just that large of a release, that it can kind of justify it a little bit. And I think that also kind of just moves people's opinion on it as well, because like it immediately comes to their mind, doesn't it? Like, oh yeah, because Black Myth, that was just ridiculous. Like, remember that launch? Remember, like, everyone on, like, those numbers. It just immediately comes to the forefront of your brain, right? So it kind of just makes that cut just by the fact that it's kind of like a headline, right? But yeah, it's quite tough. I imagine it's quite tough to actually shortlist these games down to ones that you do feel are worthy based on score and popularity. Like, I don't think it's easy. And you're going to have some butthurt people regardless of what you choose, I think. So
Yeah, and ultimately that's all we're dealing with there. We're just dealing with opinions.
yeah,
I'm not an important person.
Oh,
People
come on,
will be
man.
like, "Who's
I
this
guess
dickhead?"
Space Marine might have been a bit more deserving, maybe higher score.
Space Marine got a better score.
Yeah,
Got a better
and
score.
it had a lot of buzz around it as well.
But
So
it doesn't have motion capture or hyper realistic. I know it does have hyper realistic graphics.
yeah, no, yeah,
It's not about
you can definitely like pick at it, can't you? But then,
Yeah.
like, equally, I don't also think you could be mad at it at the same time. Like, sure, I feel like
Well,
you could sit down and you could pick at it, but like, are you really that outraged that Wukong made the cut there as a nominee? Not really. So
yes. No.
so yeah, I don't think it's too big of a deal.
Where's my Age of Mythology nomination? You know?
Yeah.
Come on.
He was up for something, wasn't he? I saw it in one of the.
Yeah,
one
it was. It got a nomination on simulation.
There we go.
Is there anything else from any of this that you guys fancy chatting
Yeah,
about?
Caden wanted to talk about his
Caden,
fighting
yes,
game
you
category.
handsome man over there with the big penis.
Yeah, he's behind you.
Yeah. Best fighting game. We got more controversy in the FGC.
Oh god.
Remember in 2022
The FGC.
where Sifu was in the fighting game.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that was hilarious.
And I was like, the fuck is that doing here? We got another one. We
What?
got Sparking Zero.
Oh
Sparking
yeah,
Zero.
yeah, I did hear
Yeah.
about this. Yeah,
And
it's
people
kind
are
of
like, but the thing is,
Wait,
it's
what's
so
the problem?
frustrating because you can't argue against it, but
no.
people who play fighting games do not consider it a fighting game.
It's
Like,
not
this
like
is
a
3D
competitive
fighter.
fighter.
Pardon? No, it's not a 3D fighter. It's a no, that's a player. Oh, there's a word for it. It's a type of.
What's the problem? Explain the problem to me. I don't understand. I'm out of the loop.
Well, it's just not a traditional.
It's not a
fighting
1v1 me bro fighter.
Well, it is, but it's
not in the sense that it needs to be.
Yeah, it's a I don't know. It's a weird game. The annoying thing is, it could even win because it was really really popular.
Yeah,
which is a bit scary.
It's not as bad as Sifu though. Let's be real. Like Sifu, that was
Yeah, I guess
hilarious
not.
when that
Yeah,
got in
yeah.
there. But like Sparking Zero, you can kind of make an argument for. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you as well. Like, I look at that game and I don't know. I don't really see it as like a fighting game in the sense as Street Fighter is and Tekken is and Mortal Kombat is and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but
And
I think you two are being silly. If there's a fight, it's a fighting game.
great. Also, I guess one thing we've not really talked about yet is like remakes and stuff like that. Because in the best fighting games, there's the arcade collection, which is just a collection of old games. And
Fuck Tams.
best fighting game.
that's a bit dumb.
Yeah, like what's your views on like remakes and stuff? Then I know we've probably done it.
Well,
with, like, older years.
it's not a
with, like,
remake, is it?
I'm
It's
not
a
happy about it.
remaster. I don't think a
And the remaster
remaster
collection-
should be in there. No.
Yeah.
Remake, maybe. Fine. Like if
Yeah,
they
it's literally just a thing.
Put it in the ongoing games category. You know what?
upscaled
Let's make it an
and-
ongoing game.
It's,
At this point, if you're remaking it, Resident Evil 2024, that's an ongoing game of the original Resident Evil 4. Huh? Huh?
No, because that's a ground
I'm
up
big braining
remake.
this.
No, you're stupid. But like this is where the line is blurred though, like for real. But no, like that's literally just a collection of remastered games that are now working on this platform. They might have tightened up some stuff, but like no, yeah, I don't agree with that should be in there personally. And plus people are probably only putting it in there for like a select couple games in that collection as well, right? Like the collection as a whole, probably like 80% of it people don't play. They're just jerking off over Marvel versus Capcom, aren't they? So
it was in BT2 and that was it.
yeah,
That was
so
the game
like
that people cared about.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that one's a bit. I feel like that one's actually worse than Sparking Zero, to be honest. Like I'd rather have Sparking Zero as a nominee than that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's probably been my only gripe, really.
I'm a bit pissed off at the most anticipated game category.
Oh, great! Yeah, really good point.
Oh, well, you mean the GTA 6
Death
category?
Stranding 2, yeah, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, GTA 6, Monster Hunter Prime, Monster Hunter Prime.
That's how
Metroid Prime 4
crossover.
Metro Prime 4 and Monster Hunter Wilds. I mean, I'm great. I'm very happy Monster Hunter made the cut. But like Ghost of Yotai, Death Stranding 2 I can actually understand. Ghost of Yotai just got revealed and it was like a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Like, how stiff are you guys for samurais? Like honestly, like that's ridiculous.
It's a little bit
No
crazy.
Doom?
It got like a minute and
No
a half.
Fable?
Yeah.
Are you fucking joking?
That's true,
that's
actually. Yeah, I didn't think about any of those for most anticipated. I mean,
Well,
regardless,
the Xbox guy thinks the Xbox game should be the most anticipated. Whatever. We've seen way more of those games.
I mean, regardless, nothing's winning, but GTA. But it would have been
You're right,
nice to see the nominee of something like Fable or something. What was the other one you just said? It's gone
Doom.
out of my brain. Doom. Yeah, which looks insane. Like everyone literally watched that trailer and was like fucking gooning everywhere. So I don't really know like why it's not there.
I do.
Xbox tax.
Xbox tax.
Ring the bell.
Get more people on. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh god. It's there though, man. Can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah. Is it in the room with us now? That's the real question. I think so.
Put down some paper, see if it writes on it.
Yeah.
My EMF's going off. Xbox tax is here.
That's crazy. Okay. Sweet. I don't know, is there anything else here? I know we've gone on probably a bit later than we wanted to. I feel like we've covered most things. Oh, I guess maybe the final just bit to touch on then is, yeah, sorry, dude. It's just the I fucking lost it. It's the
what shame. Enjoy.
The total publisher nominations. Let me rephrase that.
I've seen this.
The total nominations by publisher. So this year we've got the top. Where is it? I just had it and it's fucking gone. Oh no.
He's flapping.
So if we just keep pretending. I got it. Okay, here we go. Top 5 are PlayStation with 16 noms, Square Enix with 12 noms, Xbox with 12 noms, Sega with 11 noms, and Bandai Namco with 7 noms. Nintendo down there with 6. Fucking hell.
Yikes.
Dead publisher, am I right? Jeez. I think that's pretty fun. And obviously, Final Fantasy doesn't even count as a PlayStation game.
For everyone on a podcast right now.
It's a burp.
Yeah, it literally travelled up from like my fucking.
I heard it for you in the cave.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
All in all, pretty like comparable numbers there, right? You know, I think Astrobot really got a lot of wins for PlayStation. You know, probably understandably. Everybody's taken away quite a few noms. You know, we'll see how it turns out. I remember there was like a whole hullabaloo last year about Xbox not getting into the most most no into the Game of the Year category, but then it walked away with the most wins out of all of the publishers. So we'll see. I think PlayStation will probably take away the most wins this year because of how much the press loved
Astrobot, Helldivers, shit like that. It will take stuff away.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's just those two, though, really, isn't it? Am I for PlayStation published things? Concord. It's getting old.
Yeah, I don't think they've had much else this year.
I'm looking at the
because
they
you
also
Final
put a
Fantasy's
breakdown.
not. Yeah, you can't.
It's Square Enix.
Yeah.
They've also did a breakdown of like most nominated games, which just to put it into context, Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth both got 7 nominations. Metaphor got 6 nominations. Balatro and Silent Hill 2. I'm quite surprised Silent Hill got that many, but each got 5 nominations. And then
Balatro with 5 though. Let's go. That's
fire,
yeah.
You really need to give that game a go. Like, I think you'll really like it.
Yeah. It's on my list. Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, COD, Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, and Hellblade 2 all got 4 nominations. So they're like kind of the front runners in terms of the most nominations. So Hellblade did make an appearance, which I was really happy about, getting 4 nominations. But yeah, all across the board, looking pretty good, despite our nitpicks and our whinges. But it's good. Video games, woo!
That's fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. Yeah, I think it'll be good. Whether we stream it or not is another question. We might have to do like a little test stream there. But when is it? It's like the 12th or something, is it?
That was off the top of my head. That's
I feel like 12th is the day I'm looking at here. And I think it is on a Friday as well. I remember looking this up.
The 12th is Thursday. However, that could be American time magic.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not we stream it or not. But I think regardless, we'll probably all jump on a call and watch it, and then obviously we'll talk about it on next podcast or something like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I always like the Game Awards. It's a bit corrupt, but I like it.
There's a bit too much Xbox tax, but other than that, yeah, it's a good time.
Other than that, it's fantastic.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll close the show out there. And we actually covered every news item today. This is great. We did it today. Yeah, we did it. Even with the glitch gremlins that weren't really glitch gremlins, it's just all coming together. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for coming to listen to the show today. If you're watching us live on YouTube, or maybe you're watching us after the fact, consider liking the video. If you're listening to us on Spotify or any of the other podcast services, give us a little rating there. We've currently got a big 3 stars out of 5 on Spotify, so, there's some work to do.
Yikes.
Clearly.
I might change my review.
Yeah, come on, man. Put it up to 4 at least.
When we're deserved of it, I will.
Yeah. All right, well... honestly, I'm okay with that. Okay, bye, everyone. Catch you later.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.